to the cloud. All right, welcome everybody. I'm Nitzan Mosri. Welcome everyone to this awesome call. Thank you so much for being here. Uh, Here we are. Stay tuned until the end. I'm going to share a link for next week's call. I've got a gentleman, Steve Richards. He's coming in. He's a business coach. He's going to talk to us about building your business, getting in line, how to build your business. And his tag is making your business a math equation so you can solve for it. Right? How to build your business and whatnot. Because we see all these gurus and we see all these big people talking to us and telling us and teaching us how to go out and buy real estate and how to do all that kind of stuff. But basically what happens is that we exchange one job for another job, right? And we're all in it. We're wearing all the different hats and we're running that rat race. But now we think, okay, you know what? I'm in real estate. It's going to be different. He's actually going to come in and show us how to go about building that business and structuring it so that we can really have that time freedom that we're all looking for. And so stay tuned until the end, and I'm going to share that link so you guys can register for next week. And it's going to be a really awesome. So tonight we have a gentleman, Claude Diamond. What's happening, Claude?
Me,
That's
hello,
right.
Oh, called me a gentleman even.
And a scholar. And a scholar. There you
There
go.
we go. Hi, everybody. What would we
Well,
like to talk? What should we talk about tonight?
you know what? I think we need to talk about how, a lot of us are out there raising capital. We're talking to investors, right? Everybody's talking to investors, but there's a way to talk to an investor, talk to people to actually bring them closer to us, to build a connection and whatnot, that we were never taught how to do that,
Yeah.
right? We were never really taught how to build that rapport, that camaraderie, that bond, that connection, and all that kind of stuff. And Claude, you're the master at that. You're the
Thank you.
master at doing that. Your success and your track record, and I'm going to let you talk a little bit about that if you want. You
Sure.
know, you've been an influence, a big influence in my life and many people's lives, in helping us understand the psychology, the way about going about doing it, presenting ourselves, all that stuff. So I'm going to be quiet now, and I'm going to hand the mic over to you. So take it away, Claude, and you know what? Make it happen for us.
Yeah. And thank you for inviting me. It's 5 o'clock. I'm here in Winter Park, Colorado. Any skiers in the room? Snowboarders?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm 9,200 feet above sea level. I live part of the year here in Colorado and part of the year in San Diego. I'm originally from New York. That's why I talk funny sometimes. Um, and I've been in real estate about 32 years. I run a very successful business. It's given my family security plenty. We're debt-free, mortgage-free. My kids didn't have to worry about paying for college or anything. And it basically happened because I met one man who was probably the greatest salesman I ever met. I'm the former world's worst salesman. I mean, I couldn't give away money. It's true. It's true, Stephen Love. I love that name. What a great name. Is that your real name?
That is my real name.
That is an awesome name. A lot of things you could do in marketing with a name like that.
That's right.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna have to connect with you afterwards. You're gonna teach me a couple because I
Yeah.
need it.
So I was doing real estate, like most of us, acquiring properties, and I had all these properties. I moved from I went to law school in California, and I had all these properties, and I was still broke. I was controlling about 12, 13 properties, some I owned, some I lease purchased. And it was just a struggle managing and controlling, and it was always crisis management. Somebody was being evicted, something broke, and all the money I made from 1 month had to go to the repairs for the. Does this sound familiar to anybody? Okay. And I wasted a lot of time driving around to properties, setting up meetings with people, or I drive in famous. Any Californians in the room? Or West Coasters. We had a lot of traffic, and I'd waste hours driving to meetings, and people would say to me things like, "I'll think about it." I'll speak to my spouse, call me in 2 weeks. And it was getting very frustrating. And it was, and I went to all the seminars. I've read all the books. I've got shelves of the real estate books and everything. And I said, what am I missing here? I'm working really hard. I'm trying to stay on top of all the contemporary topics of real estate. And I met this one man. His name was Max. I've written a couple books about him. This was my first book on it, The Mentor Teaches Success. And I've written 9 books on real estate and sales. You guys wouldn't want a free copy today, would you? No? Yes? Maybe? Oh, you do? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, everybody's tired. I've been up since 5:30. So if you'd like the book, oh, my phone, can I put that in the chat there?
Sure. Sure, absolutely.
Here, just send me, here, go here. www. I want to send you guys a bunch of free stuff. ClaudeDiamond.com /private or text me. Just put it right in here, 206-5960. And I have a book, The Mentor Teaches the Gut Sales Method. I sell a lot of these. And How to Sell with Guts, and it has my mind map. And I learned this, and you guys just contact me and say, Claude, send me the free stuff, and I'll send it. I'll be glad to send it to you, okay? I met the world's greatest salesman. He'd get on the phone. He was comfortable. He was confident. He didn't read a script. Okay, he didn't sound like a guy asking for the order 5 times or anything. And in one phone call, he made more money. And Nitson knows this story, and I tell it all the time. He made more money in one phone call than I made in a whole year working for a Fortune 500 company with a law degree. And that blew me away. What was he doing different than what I was doing? I was just doing free consulting all the time. And I said, how'd you do that? And he said, I don't know, I just do it. He was what you call a natural salesman, an intuitive. He knew how to read people and just converse with them. And he had what I call today the $1 million skill. He knew how to give good phone. This is way before the internet. Okay. And I ended up being his mentee. And through osmosis and listening, I kind of took what he was doing. I developed it into a system. I studied a lot of different aspects of psychology, of how do you persuade and influence people? How do you have those good conversations with people so that you can close them or qualify them in the first phone call? Okay. And that to me that changed my life. I went from a guy who had more month than money and struggling to being able to call people up, have really nice civilized conversations, fun conversations. Okay, and I think we've lost this skill. I think everybody's telling us we have to text and email, and I do that too, and automate and hire other people and all these other things. I have a thing called the rule of 5. I speak to 5 people a day. I make 5 offers a day. I speak differently to people. I use things like pattern interrupts, stroking, nurturing, empathy. I ask questions with redirection. Okay. Trevor, if I made you an offer today that worked within your budget and we were able to do something, you wouldn't want to do a contract today, would you? If we could if we could agree on the price and terms that was comfortable for you. What's your thoughts on that, Trevor?
Not today, thank you. I'd like to know you a little better.
Well, my wife said the same thing on our honeymoon. But the thing, thank you for laughing, Mr. and Mrs. Place. The thing about it is, can we talk to people and Juan, if you were my doctor, Juan, and I went to you and I said, hi, Dr. Juan, thanks for seeing me. What would you say now? You come in your nice white jacket and you got your little clipboard and everything. What would be the next thing you'd say to me, Dr. Juan?
Not quite sure.
You're my doctor. Hi, doctor. Thanks for seeing me.
Okay, let's talk about how you're feeling.
I don't,
Okay.
I'm feeling
Better.
horrible. My back is killing me, Dr. Juan.
Okay, let's go over everything that's going on in your life and medications you're taking and ways of that you're working out or what have you, and see where that's coming from.
There you go. Off the role play. Didn't he do a good job? Do you think I mind, Dr. Juan, asking me questions, putting that cold stethoscope on my chest, taking my blood pressure and things like that? Do I respect the relationship because he's the doc? Is he allowed to ask me a lot of questions? When did it start? What medication, like he just did? Is he allowed to ask me all those questions?
Of course.
Of course. If he was my lawyer. Juan, you're a doctor and a lawyer today. Okay. Attorney Ramos, I just got this nasty letter from the IRS and they want to take my house and everything. And they say I haven't paid my taxes and I have. Can you help? My wife can't sleep at night. Can you help me?
Sure. Let's see what's going on.
Okay.
Let's talk about it, yeah.
Do I want to? Okay. So do most salespeople do what we just did? Do they ask questions or do they just go right into the presentation?
Yeah, they ask questions.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think if we ask questions, hey, gee, Mr. and Mrs. Place, why are you selling that home, that beautiful piece of land? Why are you selling that land? How long have you owned it, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah.
That
makes a lot of
Wait a minute,
sense.
wait a minute, let me unmute. There we
You
go.
got
We've owned the home for, matter of fact, we just had our 20th anniversary, but
Congratulations. Okay.
we've
get
hit
fired.
retirement age and we want to downsize.
But you're such a young, beautiful couple. Why don't you keep it for 10, 15 years?
I just turned 39 just the other day.
There you go. I'm like Jack Benny. I tell everyone I'm still 36, and that's the greatest lie of all time. But the thing, maybe you should keep the house a little bit longer. It's your home. You're comfortable there. It's paid off, I assume, and everything. You don't really want to sell it today, do you?
If I could kick the can down the road, maybe, but I'd consider something different.
Okay. That's called a redirection. Did you ever hear of a salesperson push the prospect away? Okay. And what did Douglas do? He explained, well, we want to downsize, we want to move somewhere else, we want to kick the can down the road and everything like that. Did I just get free information from him about what he's thinking, what he's feeling, what his motivational level is? And I asked did anyone hear the question? Did I ask the question with maybe a negative content? You don't really want to sell your home today, do you?
No.
And he came back to the other side. Things in motion stay in motion. I go negative. Most people respond positive. So we have to learn how to ask questions, have fun on the phone so that we can qualify people and basically make those conversations fun on the way to the bank. And I developed the gut sales method. It's called Great Unorthodox, Untraditional Techniques of Sales, long mnemonic there. And I basically made it into 3 steps: an agenda, a qualification, and a commitment to close. And what I discovered, and this changed my life, I learned how to have better conversations with people, to qualify them up front, or to fire the prospect and not be subservient or submissive to the prospect and give them a lot of information. And then they say, I'll think about it, or, take me off your list. How much time do we waste? How many of us are uncomfortable in sales? I couldn't give away money, and I found that sales is the $1 million skill, but most people are winging it or using a script or approaching people the same way their competition is doing. And if we use this, and if you go to the prospect and you sound exactly the same like all your competition, your rejection rate goes very high. But if you use different things, different techniques in psychology, to get into that conversation and qualify that prospect, we call it the emotional quotient. Are they a 1 or are they a 10? Is it urgent and important? And we have to learn how, and I think we've lost this skill. Okay. And this thing about it is, how do we really make deals happen? Okay. Do we text people? Do we fax them? Oh, no, fax. Who said that? My fax machine is a doorstop now. I can't even remember last time I used it. I have this beautiful fax machine. I don't use it anymore. The thing is, if we can learn a system where we can speak to a few people every day, make offers every day, what's the math? What's the algorithms of getting more deals, more closings? It's a lot easier. And so I learned this from my mentor. I started having more good conversations with people. I started closing more deals. People were asking me, how'd you do that? And I started writing some books and articles for magazines. I did a little TV and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, people were calling me up. And then I started to go into the information side of the business. So I'm not only, and I'm still an investor myself. Okay. I own real estate in many different places, California, Colorado, North Carolina. I love this business. I'll never retire. But I also got into the information side of the business, and I started consulting with people how to get better at sales. I also wrote some books on options and lease purchasing too. And that brought me in other streams of income. And a lot of it really came down to the one thing that was missing in all my education. No one taught me how to sell. And to me, that is the $1 million skill. Can you engage spontaneously? My mom said the same thing that your mom said. When we were all little boys and girls, what did mom say when we went out to play? What did your mom say, Cheryl?
My mom was pretty protective.
What did she say? Did she say go out there and play in the traffic and talk to strangers?
Never. She always
Never.
had an eye on us.
Right. She said don't talk to strangers, right? And you probably
Exactly.
said, if you have children, I'm sure you said the same thing to them, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we grow up in the big bad competitive. It's a very competitive world out there. And the thing about it is, what makes another person say, I want to work with Cheryl and Juan and George and everybody else. I want to work with that person because I like them. I feel good about them. And this is what I learned from my mentor. He was a charismatic salesman. He knew how to engage people. He knew the different pattern interrupts. How most people, when we call up people or when we get phone calls at dinner time, do we know how long does it take us till we know that person is a salesperson? We got nice hot meatloaf and mashed potato dinner.
Seconds.
Steaming. How long?
Seconds.
Seconds, right? And what's our natural reaction to that uninvited guest?
You hang up the phone.
Yeah. Hey, take me off your list. How'd you get my number? Call me at another time and all that stuff, right? What happens to us personally when we get too much rejection? I go boo-hoo, right? Is it hard to every day to make phone calls, to talk to people, to follow up on leads when we're getting a lot of rejection? Okay. Do we kind of find other things to do? What's that word when you don't do what you're supposed to do and you find other things?
Procrastination.
Procrastinate. Thank you. Yeah. How many of us love making phone calls to strangers all day long? Anybody on drugs right now or anything? The thing about it is, if we could talk to more people and have good conversations and consistently make offers and follow up, how do you think that would change our financial situation, making more money? It would increase it substantially. So that's what changed my life, learning how to sell, applying different aspects of psychology. I'm a big fan of Robert Cialdini, The Psychology of Persuasion. Anybody ever read that book?
Yep.
Yeah. It's a great book. Cialdini, and basically said there's a couple reasons why people do business with salespeople, the best salespeople. One of them is scarcity, short supply. Another one is social proof. Everybody else is doing it, or it's like a celebrity endorsement. Other things here, I got my list over here. They know, like, and trust that person. Do you think if you have a good conversation with somebody in a very competitive world and your competition has big fancy offices and spends a lot of money on advertising, how do you compete with somebody like that? If you're just, you know, I have no employees. I work out of my homes. I work with my wife, you know, and, you know, two people giving good phone can be very competitive if the prospect feels they can trust you, they know and know and like you. If you're bringing value to the table, even if you're more expensive than your competition, or maybe don't have all the bells and whistles, when someone knows, likes, and trusts you, do you think life is easier to close? Absolutely. It's not always about the price and things like that. So that's does anybody have some questions, or let me ask a question. I'll be glad to answer them. Or does anybody have what's the biggest challenge you have in sales today? Anybody like to ask me that?
So Claude, I know that, you know, when we're talking to investors, right, and we're pitching our property, right? Everybody's talking about the same thing, right? Here's the property, here's this, here's the numbers, here's that. What are some ways that we can differentiate ourselves from everybody else when we're talking to our investors? I know you mentioned a lot of it. Can you give us some techniques, some tips that we can actually use?
Well, when we're speaking to an investor, are we talking about raising money?
Yes.
Or getting a hold of a property?
No, raising money. It's raising money, right? So we're pitching them a property to raise capital into our, you know, multifamily property.
Okay. What's the one thing what do investors really want? Let's reverse engineer this. Let's be empathetic. Okay. If someone, what would you want? If it's a lot of people, everybody wants your money, everybody's got your hand out and everything else. What do you think an investor needs to hear? Or what is an investor looking for when you approach them?
I would say the first thing the investor is looking for is to build trust and rapport with that individual.
Right, because they don't want to be ripped off, right?
Correct, exactly.
Exactly. You know, so if we did a role play, Mr. and Mrs. Place, how do I know I can trust you? I've never heard of you. This is the first phone call. You want $100,000 from me, and I don't even know you. I
Well,
mean,
the first thing I would have is I'd have a
role
pitch
play.
deck.
Well, let's do it.
Okay. We're looking for investors, and we have a proven track record. We've closed over $100 million worth of properties, and we've delivered on our promises to our investors. We've met or exceeded expectations on the properties that we present to our investors.
Okay. So what you said was good, but how do we say it in such a way that the prospect doesn't, you know, challenge us or be defensive or anything like that? First thing you need to do when you're talking to an investor and they challenge you, say, great, you know, let's reverse it. Now you get to attack me, Douglas. Go ahead.
You're up to bat.
Just, hey, how do I know I can trust you?
I'll tag her. Go ahead, you're right. She's a New Yorker like you. She probably can answer that better.
You talking to me? You talking to me or what?
I'm talking to you.
Okay. Okay. Well, listen, we'll go. If we can do business today, let's go out and get a couple slices, you know?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
And Uncle Luigi's out there with the machine gun.
No, what is it that you want me to do?
How do I'm a complete stranger asking you for $100,000. First thing on your mind is, I don't know you. How do I know I can trust you? I get these phone calls all the time. Attack me, challenge me.
Well,
And like a normal person would do.
basically that's what a lot of people say, and you know,
Role play it with me.
I need more, you know,
Vetting.
more vetting, you know, your track record, who you're dealing with.
You know, I'm so glad you asked that, Mrs. Place, or can I call you by your first name?
Karen, she's Karen.
Karen, hi. Karen, you know what? I'm so glad. If I was in your shoes, your place, I would feel the exact same way. Good for you for asking that. Okay, because we don't know each other. I wish we did, but I got your number. I got your number from Mr. Mosery, and I have this opportunity. What would you need from me to feel? First of all, are you looking for an investment with a significant return and security? And is $100,000 comfortable for your budget?
Yes, and yes, I am interested.
What would you need from me in order for us to move forward today so that you're comfortable with this investment? You know it's secure. You know I'm an honest person and I have a history of doing business. What would you like to get from me?
Well, I'd like to get all the details and so on, and,
Okay, the details of the deal.
Yep.
That's good.
yep, references.
References. I love that. Thank you. Okay. Anything else?
Well, I'm a CPA, so I trust but verify.
Okay, so would you like to speak to my CPA or my tax attorney or check my Dun and Bradstreet or things like, or
I would definitely be doing some kind of
Okay.
background check.
Great questions. I'm so glad you're, and if I provided you all these things, including references from very successful investors I've worked with, and you spoke to them personally and they vouched for my veracity to your personal satisfaction, what would happen when we speak tomorrow morning?
I'd definitely be interested in seeing what you have to offer and see if that's in my wheelhouse.
Okay, boom. So let's analyze. That was a good role play. Give them a round of applause. I put them
I'll give her a pat on the back.
There you go. There's three things I'm going to teach you right away: stroking, nurturing, and empathy. A stroke is a sincere compliment. Do you think we acknowledge people enough? Do you think we say thank you enough? Or if you noticed in that little role play, I said, great question. Oh, Karen, I'm so glad you brought that up. If I was you, I would do the exact same thing. Now, have you ever heard a salesperson do that?
No.
No. Why am I doing it? What's the psychology? What's the rationale? But instead of being, you see, most salespeople, I call them the amateurs, they would be threatened by those calls. Well, what do you mean we've been, cute dogs? Dogs and
You're
kids.
engaging.
Yeah, you're engaging and
engaging.
you're building a rapport and a relationship.
Very good.
And what I see in that conversation is you haven't presented the deal yet. So what you're trying to do is get comfortable with the personality and the traits of that individual before you pitch the deal.
There you go. There you go. Do you think our competition is going to go to the time and trouble to learn these moves, these techniques right away? See, most amateur salespeople would get defensive right. Well, we've been in business for 35 years and no one's ever questioned us, and we have all kinds of this and that, and we were written up in the New York Times and the Wall Street, and they would get very. To me, it sounds like they're very defensive. Whereas I would take the stroking and I'd say, that's a great question, Karen and Doug. I'm really glad you brought that up. I would feel the same way. So good for you for asking. Okay, that's a stroke. Nurturing is when you make it emotional. I'm going to teach you guys the $1 million rule. Everybody got a pen and paper? Because this is the most important thing I'll teach you this evening. Okay. Nitzan, you want to say it or should I? Go ahead. People make immediate business decisions emotionally. So when we nurture people and we get them to know, like, and trust us, or we can relate to something emotional with them, we can get to a quicker yes. Anybody here ever make a decision, good or bad, too quickly because you got emotionally involved? I'm very guilty of this.
We do all the time.
Okay. The heart leads the soul, right? I mean, it's sometimes you just make that decision. It comes from the heart. And then the next morning you say, why did I do that? Let's not get personal. I'm not going to go where I was going to go. You get, but the thing about it is, can we be nurturing? Can we relate it emotionally? You said you want to downsize and everything else. And I say, gee, that's great. You know, I have my parents downsized and they moved to a great community and they were closer to their grandchildren. And can you imagine having a less junk and stuff and being able to see the grandkids more often without having to get on an airplane and all that? That's nurturing. I'm putting a picture thing in your mind. And then there's empathy. Can I foresee what you're thinking? Is it reasonable to make intelligent decisions about if I was in your shoes and stuff like that? So in that role play, and then I turned it around, and then I asked Karen, and I said, "What do you need from me in order for us to move forward?" I said something I think like that. Okay, and Karen said, "I need more details. I'd like references." Has anybody here ever had somebody ask them for references? Okay. What's the perfect answer when somebody says to you, Stephen Love, Stephen, you sound like a great guy, but I don't know you. We've never done business before. Do you have any references? You're muted, Mr. Love.
Sorry, could you shoot it to me again?
I said, Stephen, you can be the amateur response. Stephen,
Okay.
I really like what you have. I want to do business. I want to invest with you, but I don't know you, man. You sound like a nice guy. Do you have references?
Sure, of course. I've got multiple references.
Okay. Now you're just going to let that, now turn it around and seize control and use this as an opportunity to close me. Want to do it? Want to reverse it? And I'll demonstrate it.
Sure.
Go ahead. Claude, do you have references?
All right. So, sorry, sitting here trying to get the names. Claude, do you happen to have any references that I can check with?
Great question. So glad you brought that up. How many would you like, Stephen? Can I call you Stephen, Mr. Love? I'm Claude.
Yes, you can call me Stephen.
Thank you. How many references would you like?
3.
No, that's not enough. I've been in business a long time. My clients are my invisible sales force, and I'd love for you to speak with them. How about 6 or 7?
3 will be fine.
3 will be fine. And if I give you their names and phone numbers and they vouch for me, and they meet with your with your satisfaction about my business and this deal or this investment, what happens tomorrow morning at 10:30 when we speak?
I'll feel a little bit better about the phone call.
But not good enough for us to make a commitment and do a contract?
Not quite.
What else would you need besides those references? Hear that silence? I love that silence. I love that silence. Stephen, you're doing a great job here. I love this. This is the way I teach, by the way, my students. We learn the system, the 3 steps, and I'll go over those, and then we practice and role play. Okay. See, am I closing, Stephen, right now? Am I looking for a commitment in some way? What happens? What do prospects do so wonderfully? Don't prospects have a system where they ask and we give, and they ask for more and we give? And then what do they say at the end of that 45-minute conversation? I'll think about it. I'll talk to my spouse. Call me in 2 weeks. Send me more information. Did we get a commitment? Did we get a contract? A follow-up appointment? Did we get anything? How many people here have spent a lot of time with somebody and then they went on the witness protection program, right? Right?
Absolutely.
So what I was doing with Stephen is, what else would you need from me in order for us to do business tomorrow or today? Okay, I'm qualifying him. I'm getting him to get up the yes ladder, to make a commitment to me. If I just give him references with no specific time frame for a follow-up, what am I going to have?
References. And that's it.
I have nothing. How many times do we go to the prospect? Do we have rights in the sales process, ladies and gentlemen? Do you think we have the right to, when we're giving, do you think we have the right to ask? Yeah. Do we have the right to, hey, if I give you this or that, Karen, Stephen, if I give you the details, if I give you the outline, if I give you a prospectus, if I give you references, I give you everything you need, and we speak Thursday afternoon at 4:30, and everything meets with your expectations and your security needs, and you run it past your attorney or whatever, what would happen next? Can we make a commitment and move forward? It's okay to say no to me. By the way, who loves the word no? I do, if I get it quick. Right, Mr. Edwards, do you like that word no? Wouldn't you rather get that word no up front rather than, how many of us have had these great conversations, gave our $1 million presentation, and then we keep chasing them and leaving the voicemails and everything else like that? Do we make money? Isn't that frustrating? Okay. Is it okay to be in a little bit of I'm giving you a little New Yorker DNA. Okay. I'm teaching you. I think we have rights in the sales process. We have the right to ask for a commitment, or how would you like to do business? Not just give information, give a presentation, but find out what the prospect really wants and how to make a commitment, how to negotiate the best deal. this is not only a science of human behavior psychology, but it's also an art form, isn't it? It really makes the difference when you can get comfortably on the phone and you ask the questions, or somebody asked me a question. Nitzen, ask me a question. Anything. Why is
when can you make your investment? When can we get your money?
Gee, I don't know. I don't know. That's a great question. You must have asked that for a reason. Do we need to do it right away, or can I have some time to raise the money or liquidate my retirement fund, or?
It's first come, first serve. So if you don't put your money in and somebody else takes your spot, there's nothing I can do.
Oh, okay. So I need to, there's a time frame here to get this.
Absolutely.
I mean, I love this investment, everything. I didn't, how soon can I put some money down, or is there any financing or anything?
There's no financing. This is an investment. So, you got to come in with the full amount. I would say by 5 p.m. tomorrow, we would need to know if you're in or out.
Okay. Do you need the whole 100,000? That's a lot of money to raise in 24 hours. Could I give you a down payment and the rest of the money by Monday morning?
So what we could do is yes, if you send me your money before 5 p.m. tomorrow, I could definitely hold your spot.
Okay. Okay. That was a good role play. Every time he asked me a question, how did I respond? When they ask a question, how should you respond in a sales conversation? With another question. Gee, what are the 3 most important words in sales? You're gonna love this. I don't know. Great question. You must have asked that for a reason. When do you need the money? How much money? Can you, boom. When we're talking to people, how important is it for us to get information, get qualification from that prospect? Wouldn't it make our lives a lot easier if we knew what their level of motivation is, what their finances is, what their time frame is, what their authority is to make that decision? Wouldn't that be better? Anybody here ever give, I always talk this story, anybody here ever give $1 million presentation, and then the prospect said at the end of your presentation, this is great, Trevor, and if I thank you for the lattes and everything else, this was great. I really like you, man. And if I had the money, I'd do this deal in a second. Am I the only one who's heard this, right?
Yeah.
How important
Oh
is
no,
it?
I've definitely heard that.
Oh yeah. And who's fault? Who's at fault? Them or us?
Us.
Okay.
We should have already had that information.
Right. Can I use a little bit of bad language? I don't want to offend anybody. Can I use a little bit? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
My mentor used to always say, there's no bad prospects. There's only shitty salesmen. He said, I'd go to him. Oh, they lie all the time. And they're just asking me. He said, you're responsible before you get in your car, before you give away all that information, everything. You have rights. You have the responsibility of qualifying them up front. When should we talk about money? In the beginning, middle, or end of a conversation?
Beginning.
In the beginning.
Beginning, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cheryl, if you and I decide today, this is called an agenda step. This is the first. Cheryl, if I'm going to ask you a few questions, and you can ask me a few. And if we decide to do business today on this investment, it's a lot of money, $100,000. Is that comfortable for your budget right now? Because that's an enormous amount of money. Not everybody has that kind of liquidity right away. Is that comfortable for you?
I'm not quite sure.
Oh, who would be?
Who would be what?
The $100,000 investment. I'll answer your questions, I'll ask you a few, and it's a great investment. I don't know if you're comfortable with it or not, but it's a lot of money. Is $100,000, if this is the right investment for you, is that comfortable for your budget today?
I might need to know more.
Okay, but if I gave you more to your personal satisfaction and everything else you need, would that money be available for you?
Yes, perhaps.
Perhaps yes or perhaps no.
Perhaps.
I don't know what perhaps means. My Walmart hearing aid fell out. What is Cheryl doing so well? Round of applause for Cheryl. She's doing a great job here. Cheryl sounds like a real person, a real prospect, doesn't she?
It does.
And Cheryl just reminded me, what do prospects do so brilliantly that Cheryl was just doing? How do they answer questions?
With a question.
with a question, or maybe, probably, should, could,
Very vague.
possibly. I had one prospect that said, Claude, I'm going to give, sounds really good, and I'm going to give this my greatest attention. And I'm sure we can do something in the near distant future. And I'm going back to my car in the parking lot. I think I got a deal. What do you think I have? There's a wonderful New York City word. It's called bupkis. Does anyone ever hear that word? It means you just have a lot of nothing. Okay, but in my mind, what did I hear? I thought I had a hot prospect. So when Cheryl, which was saying those maybes and probablys and everything, do I have to kind of stick to it? And do I have to find out before I spend 45 minutes with her and a lot of time and a lot of chasing and everything else? Do you think I have the right to qualify, Cheryl, for that money?
Absolutely.
And Cheryl couldn't answer that question directly, even though I think I did it kind of nice, softer and gentler. What does that tell us? What does that tell us when a prospect, I'm going to give you guys a $10 word. It used to be 5, but inflation. She obfuscated. Okay. She would not answer a simple question. Do you like chocolate or vanilla? Well, I don't know. I'm not real. I want cake tonight, not ice cream. She would say probably and maybe. When someone obfuscates, what does that tell you in the conversation?
I would
That they're
think they're not
ready to
interested.
make a decision.
Say again, George.
They're not ready to make a decision.
Not ready to make a decision. Maybe the money's not there. Maybe she doesn't know me well enough to trust me or share that information. Okay. And that's a clue that when you qualify a prospect. The first step, Stephen, you have a question, your hands up?
I do. I was just going to wait till you get a
It's
break
okay.
in there.
If you don't interrupt me, you'll never get a word in.
Okay. So I've got 2 quick ones, if it's okay. First off, the first one is I always hear this term: people do business with whom they like, know, and trust.
Yeah.
However, when you're going into business and you're dealing with business across the board, most of the time you're not going to like these people, or you may, who knows, because you don't know them. Number 2, you're really not going to get a chance to know them, especially in the means that we have, because most of these people, when they know someone, they've had years to know them. And then the trust thing kind of relates to the know. So how do you really quantify like, know, and trust? Because like I said, it takes time. And most of the time when you're doing deals like this, especially investors, you just don't have the time to like, know, and trust someone.
Yeah. The thing is, do you ever fall in love with someone instantly?
Never.
Never? Never? Whose fault? I fell in love with my high school girlfriend. It's 38 years later. Okay. Instantly.
Wow.
Congratulations. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. The thing about it is we do something called, this is a little bit more advanced, but I'll share it with you guys in the next, it's called pattern interrupts. Okay. Pattern interrupts are a way of getting the prospect off balance. If we sound the same like our competition, those, like I was saying earlier, the telemarketers who call us up, they all sound the same to us, right? Don't we know in a nanosecond, this is somebody I don't know, they're interrupting me, they're an uninvited guest, they want to put their hands on my wallet. We know that like that, don't we? A pattern interrupt allows you to have a chance and engage the person so that you have a shot. If you're shot down in the first 15, 30 seconds, you don't have a chance. You have to engage somebody. So you use these pattern here. I'll give you an example. I live 6 months. I live 6 months in Colorado, 6 in California, and 6 in North Carolina. That's 18 months. That doesn't work. But the thing about it is, when we come back, we go to the supermarket. Someone will come up to me, Claude Diamond, when did you get back? How are you? How's the family? How's your lovely wife, Claudia? It really is her name, by the way. And did you ever have someone come up to you and talk to you like they're your best friend and you don't have a clue who the hell they are? Are we on our best behavior when that happens? Until some brain cells kick in? Okay. And I'll just go to my wife, who are these people? You know, don't you remember we had dinner with them? We went to their house and everything, you know. And so we have to engage people to get them off balance. So if I call you up, ring, ring, Stephen, say hello.
Hello.
Hi, Stephen, Claude Diamond. Sorry it took me so long to call you here. I've got your phone number on my desk here. Why, how can I help you today? This isn't about this isn't about real estate, is it? Stephen, hello?
Uh,
Were we disconnected?
Claude, who?
This is Claude Diamond. And is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7?
It is.
I have one. You ever have one of these little Post-its on your desk and you move it from one side of your desk to the other? I've had your number in front of me here. How did I get it? Is this about real estate or investing or something?
Perhaps, maybe.
Are you looking for an investment or some land? Or a lot of people call me for, they want investments with security and high rate of return, or they're looking for land to develop rental properties and things like that. That isn't you, is it?
Yeah, actually, I am looking for
Oh,
land.
that's it. And what do you look? Tell me a little bit about, and tell me what you're looking for.
I am looking for some land currently to develop for a particular commercial property I'm looking.
There you go. Okay, there we go. Phew, I'm sorry. I was so embarrassed. You know, oh God, I do this all the time, you know, but I had to call you because I had your number in front of me. Boom. What just happened? What did I just do? Stephen is very well mannered. His mom raised him right. Okay. What happens when you call somebody up and you act like you know them, or you feign ignorance, or you sound like you're getting back? These are all pattern interrupts. I have a mind map, by the way. Pattern interrupts. If you guys say, it's a great mind map. If you guys want it, send me a text or go to my webpage at claudediamond.com and say and just fill in there that you want the pattern interrupt mind map. I have 50 different ways to open a conversation, to give you the old salesman used to say, put the foot in the door. Okay. And if you guys want that, that's another gift I want to give you. And you latecomers, if you somewhere in the chat box, if you want my one of my books for free, with the mind map and everything, I'll teach you this simple 3-step system: agenda, qualification, close, how to ask questions, how to use redirection, stroking, nurturing, empathy, and how to use those pattern interrupts to engage people. Okay. Do you think most people will take the time and trouble to initiate a conversation with somebody? Do we have that skill set? Yeah. Guess what? Most people will not start the conversation. So it's up to us as the professional to engage people. And sometimes people love to rescue. They love to help you out. If they think there's a relationship, they know you or something like that. All I said was, I have your phone number in front of me. Was that a lie? No. Hey, how can I help you? That's my favorite opener. Okay. Hi, George. Ring, ring, George.
Hello.
Yeah, George. Hi, this is Claude. How can I help you?
Oh, you called me, Claude.
You
How
get
can
a
I?
cookie. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm so embarrassed. I have a note here. George Edwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is this about real estate or something, George? Most people call me about stuff like that.
Uh,
Can you help me out? I'm so embarrassed. Oh.
yeah, I am looking to sell my house, Claude.
Whereabouts is it?
It's over on West 3rd Street. Are you a real estate agent?
What do you want me to be? I can be whatever you want.
Well, I want you to buy my house if you're a buyer.
There you go. I'll tell you what. Can I ask you a few questions? You ask me a few. I'll make you an offer, and we'll find out if we can do business and make a commitment today. If not, you get to fire me. Is that fair?
Oh, that sounds really good because I get a lot of these calls and they waste my time.
I know. Don't you hate that? Don't you hate? No, you're a gentleman. Thank you so much. Boom. Did I engage? What did I say? What was the first thing I said to? Thank you, George. You made it easy. What's the first thing I said to George?
Can I help you?
How can I help you? You called me. That was his response, right? Can you see how much fun you can have with the challenge of trying to engage people and then you use so you use those pattern interrupts, then you use a little redirect. Do you really, George, do you really, back in it, George? I'm sorry to put you on the hot seat again. You get 2 books for free. George, how long you been in that beautiful house? I love that neighborhood.
It's been quite some time. It's going on 15 years.
I'll stay another 15. It's going to appreciate, go up in value. It's a great neighborhood. You sure you want to sell it?
Nah, I need to move from here. This changed since I bought it.
What do you mean change? I'm not
Well,
sure.
a lot of the
Is there a pit bull training school next door, or what are you talking about?
well, just a lot of the riffraff have moved from the inner city out to to this area for what reason I don't know why, but it's a loud at night parties and
Okay. You want
yeah,
peace and quiet. You have a family,
yeah, I do.
and you want to protect them and make sure they're safe. Where you sound like a hardworking family member, head of your family. Good for you, sir. I like doing business like with people like you. Thank you. Boom. Okay. How hard was it? Did he give me, see, something magical happens when you ask the right questions the right way. The prospect turns into the salesperson. Okay. And that's also the key of this type of selling. Can we engage people? Like Stephen, that was your question earlier. How do we get them to know, like, and trust us quickly? We do something, develop rapport, bonding, we stroke. And how many times do we get people who don't acknowledge us? Did you ever hold, here, this happened to me the other day. I went to the gym and I saw mom and 3 little kids come through, and I held the door open for them. Do you know none of those, even the mom, nobody said thank you? Do you know, doesn't that piss you off when people, what am I, the friggin' doorman here? You know? Don't you like did anyone here ever write a check to some kid or somebody, friends or somebody at work, and their kid graduated daycare? Okay, and you sent them a $20 check and you didn't get a thank you. What were your feelings about that person? I don't think in our society we acknowledge people enough. Say thank you, please, take them for granted, compliment them sincerely. Okay. These are the ways, Stephen, that I engage people and get that know, like, and trust going. I call it charismatic selling. What is that? Has anyone here met a charismatic person where you have that instant, just feel you like that person? Yeah, did you ever have that? Do you think that's a skill we can develop so that we can make, yeah, and have more business? Am I out of time? I think Stephen had one more question. I think I answered one, right? Are we out of time?
You did, but I think I can save the next one, or I'll shoot you a message or something.
Okay, it's up
to you. For everybody,
but go ahead. We got a few minutes.
So the other question I had for you is one of the biggest ones I see people fail at all the time. How can you be an excellent salesman without being a salesman? Because one of the quickest people that I'll walk away from in a dealership or hang up on the telephone are people that sound like salesmen, especially when they're salesmen that talk so much and listen so little that they actually will mispronounce my name multiple times, even if I tell them not to.
Okay. And the thing about it is you got to be a good listener. What's the hardest skill in the world for most men, including me?
Listen.
Okay. Got to be a good listener. I say something, I don't know if you picked it up. The first step in 3 little steps in my system. First one is an agenda. And I say, hey, Mr. Love, if we can do business, great. I'm here to answer your questions. I'd like to ask you a few if that's all right. And if we can do business, wonderful. That's how I make a living. But would you do me a favor? You don't have to say you'll think about it or anything. Would you just fire me if we can't do business today? Would you just say, Claude, you can say, Claude, get lost or whatever. Would you do me that favor?
Sure will.
Okay. I've been teaching this for 32 years. I'm still waiting for somebody to say that to me. You don't have to buy anything, no pressure. It's okay to say no and walk away. What do you think? Why do you think that is such an important psychological statement to make in the prelude? Why do you think I do that? Anybody have an idea?
Yeah, you're handing them the power.
Yeah. You're the boss. It's up to you, Mr. Edwards. You can say no pressure. Yeah, I'm here to make a sale. I love selling Audis. I want to put you and your family in a nice, safe car for something that meets with your budget. But if that's not what you're looking for today and it's not comfortable, I want you to just say, get lost, and I'll buy you a cup of coffee anyway. Okay, there are things that we can do. You know, we want to sound, remember in the beginning, I said, you got to sound like a doctor or a lawyer or a professional. We say we're professionals, but what do professionals do when they have a patient or a new client? What do?
Screen them.
They have to screen them. They have to ask questions. They're not mind readers, right? So you want to do, hey, sir, why are you here today? Why are you calling? Why are we talking today? What would you like to see happen by the end of this phone call? And I ask these questions to get the prospect qualifying, giving me the information so I know how to sell them. And I'm hoping that I make that connection somehow. It's finesse. It really is. And it takes time and practice to learn it. But it's a great question you asked, because if you can get off what do you want people to say about you, Mr. Edwards, when they get off the phone?
That was a really nice guy, or I don't know. That's somebody who I would do business with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You cannot take that. Great question. You cannot take that for granted. You destroy your competition when you get the prospect to feel that way. Absolutely. Mr. Mosery, did we go over here too long or whatever?
No, we're good. I think George has his hand up.
Oh,
He's got a
I'm sorry.
question.
Just real quick, I had a call today, and it kind of stumped me. It's not like my first time that it's happened, but it's a probate. And I had the seller, I got the price point, the condition, great rapport. And he goes, well, I can't sell until the probate is finished, And I asked him, like, I do have a probate attorney in Atlanta. He's helped me on a few deals of mine, blah, 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 blah. Would that be any benefit to you if we took it over, if you got your price? And he's like, oh, we already got the process started. I'm not gonna make any decision until I'm not gonna do anything until it's done.
Mr. Edwards, thank you for sharing that with me. But we have a problem here because I'm in business to do business and I'm a good prospect. I have the credit and the money to do this deal with you. And if we get off this phone, I'm scared we're never going to make that connection again. Don't you want a warm prospect today?
Yes.
Can I offer a suggestion before I leave, sir?
Sure.
Why don't we do something like this? Why don't we do a first right of refusal agreement where you and I have an agreement, a signed agreement, where after you're done with probate, whenever it happens, 3 months, 3 years, I'm the first person you call, and we have a document to reflect that, our continued business relationship. Would that be unreasonable?
It's not unreasonable. I just would need to speak to my sister. She is on the probate with me as an heir. But
Let me talk to my wife. Honey, is it okay if I do business with Mr. Edwards and give him a lot of money for a property, and so he doesn't have to do a lot of marketing and get a real estate agent and talk with a lot of looky? My wife said it's okay. That's what, seriously, that is one way to do it. First right of refusal. Another legal way to do it is get a sales agreement subject to the condition that when it clears probate, with your approval of your siblings or whoever else, we have a sales agreement with a conditional clause that when it clears probate, in 30 days you notify me, and we enter into escrow with closing. We could do it like that. How about, here's a third one. Oh, you guys, I'm giving away too much for free today. How about an option? Is anybody here familiar with options?
yeah, the
Hey,
option
Mr.
would become, okay, sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm role playing. Mr. Edwards, how would you like $1,000 today?
Oh, I would love that.
I'll tell you what, let's do an option with a clause that when you get out of probate, you and I will go ahead and do this deal for you said 300,000. I want to give you 275. If we can negotiate on the price and terms, I'll give you $1,000 today for an option subject to when the property is through probate.
That's impressive. The only thing is I've been telling all the other buyers who's been calling me that want to make an offer that I wouldn't be ready until the probate finishes. I would really like to hear back from those other buyers.
Sir, after today, I'm gone. I'm ready to do business right now. I'm ready to give you money. I'm ready to do a contract. And once I'm gone, I'm busy, sir. I'm ready to do business right now. I'm the winning lottery ticket. Do you want to cash me in or put me in the shredder?
Yeah, we really wanted to paint and fix some carpet before we sold it. So
Fine.
maybe,
Do whatever you want. I just want to be first in line, and I'm ready to do business right now with you. Can we move forward or is it over?
yeah, it might be over. I just want to see what other offers after I put the paint and carpet into it and finish the probate.
I respect your opinion. You know, now that it's over, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I'm giving you the price, I'm giving you the terms, I'm giving you money up front. Why aren't we doing business? See, I went right off the role play. It's over
Yeah.
when I say it's over.
Yeah.
Now that it's over, and then I went right back into selling again. Did
Exactly. I do that all the time.
That was a long role play. But do you think, and the point of that role play is there are solutions, and how many salespeople quit prematurely? There
A
are
lot.
ways. When he gets off the phone, he's going to go, "Phew, that guy wouldn't give up." Next time, when we have more time, I'll talk about the follow-up techniques in marketing and in contracts that I use. How important is follow-up after a conversation like that? It's huge.
Yes.
Very, very important.
You guys are great. Thank you. You made my job easy tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Claude.
Did we have fun?
Absolutely,
Did we
Claude.
learn
Thank you.
anything?
Well, thank
yeah.
you so much.
Thank you very much. We
You-
Next
you-
time-
you give us.
Next time, the Douglas and Karen have to bring pizza.
New York pizza.
There you go.
Hey, wait a minute. You're not a true New Yorker. In New York, they're called pies.
Yeah, or slice.
Slice.
Oh, yeah,
Slice,
Give me
a
a slice.
slice.
And what's the sandwich? Is it a hoagie, a sub, a grinder, or a hero? Which one is it?
Hero.
It's a hero.
But in Philadelphia, it's a grinder.
Yep.
And
But
in
top
New
cheese
England,
in New York.
it's is it a hoagie or
No,
Sub.
I will tell you in Connecticut, it's a sub.
okay? Does everybody know why I haven't had dinner yet, and it's 6:10 here. Thank you guys are great. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Give good phone. Sales is the $1 million skill. It makes all the difference in the world. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And guys, hold on a second. I'm going to share my screen with you so that you have next week's
Oh, yeah.
QR code. That's it right there. Pull out your phones,
I don't have mine.
scan that. That is for next week with Steve Richards. And Steve Richards, I'll just give you a quick update on this guy. He's phenomenal. 24 years of experience. He's built 7-figure businesses, flipped over 1,500 homes,
I'll be in a
helped
minute.
many entrepreneurs become effective CEOs through team architects, using KPIs, metrics, all that stuff to learn how to build your business, right? Because again, it's great that we're all in real estate, but we don't want to go from one job to another job. We want to be able to create a company, a business, so that we can step away from and have it run on its own so that we can go out and do what we're passionate about. Philanthropic, spend time with family, kids, travel, have fun, do all that kind of stuff. So scan that and I'll see you guys next week. And for those of you in South Florida, Thursday is our meetup happening. It's going to be at the Downtown Hyatt Hotel. All right. Any questions on anything?
Downtown Hyatt Hotel, what city? Sorry. I didn't know
Boca
anything about it.
Raton, Florida. Sorry about that. Absolutely. That's Boca Raton, Florida.
Sweet.
7 o'clock, 7 p.m. Anybody have any other questions before we go?
Thanks, Nazan. Appreciate you putting this together.
My pleasure. And just so you guys know, we're working on an incredible multifamily property in a great location, 30 miles away from a $5 billion Ford plant that is being built. She's laughing because that's the property that we're working on, and 66,000 jobs are going to be created because of this plant that's being built by Ford. So that's going to be coming down the pipeline soon. So get ready for it. All right, my friends, go make
right.
that money. Go make those calls. Go get those investors. Have a good week. Be well.
you.
You too.
Take care, guys.
Yeah,
Right.
bye.
Put on some music before we go. Yeah. Well, where's my music? I think everybody left already. All right, we'll have to do that better next time. All right, my friends, be well. Can't wait. Yes, ma'am.